Hello, it's another beautiful day out here nearing the end of August, and I'm going to take you guys on a little garden tour. Let's go. We're going to start here at the raised beds. These guys have been producing heavily through the season so far, but are just starting to slow down, especially on this side. So right here, we kind of have the herb bed. There's a lot of dill, some basil, parsley, spring onions, sage. There was a bunch of mustard right here, but I just picked all of that. There's also some lettuce that's now bolting and turning to seed, but there's still a little bit of lettuce in there. Then we're going to take a look at the other raised bed here. We got some carrots. It started with broccoli, but then I picked the broccoli and reseeded with carrots. We have some kale here, 3 different varieties. I'll put all the varieties of everything in the description. We have some Swiss chard here, lots of Swiss chard. I also interseeded some beets in there that I've already picked. And then there was a bunch of spinach there earlier. There's kind of just remnants of it, but I picked all of that. All right, moving into the greenhouse, we have some tropicals in here. We have my coffee tree. This is about 3 years old, grown in pot. We have miracle berries here. I got these last year. Miracle berries produce a berry that changes your flavor profile. So if you were to eat an onion, it kind of tastes like an apple. I'm interested to see how these turn out and if I can get one of those berries. Here we have a voodoo lily. That's a carnivorous flower. Right now it's in the vegetative state, so it's producing leaves, but it'll produce a flower that attracts bugs and stuff, and it eats the bugs. Here we have a Norfolk Island pine, a little smaller one. Bigger one over here. Tropical pine tree, very beautiful. I love the foliage on that. Here we have a bay laurel. I grew this from a propagation, so I took a cutting and rooted the cutting. It was only a small little guy, and now it's up there. So that one's about 3 years old. Here we have the pomegranate bush that has produced 1 pomegranate. So I'm excited to get that and try that out. Over here, here's the rosemary bushes. These are 3 years old, grown in pots. They produce heavily, and I've gotten lots and lots of rosemary off them so far. Now, this greenhouse had a lot more things in it at the start of the year, but everything moved out into the garden. Okay, I'm going to move on to the cloth tunnels here. We have some kale, Swiss chard, and then down at the end there's some beans. We got some marigolds here. They're going crazy. Here we have more of a salad tunnel. So there was a bunch of lettuce there that bolted and I had to remove, but we got lots of lettuce off of that so far. A couple of eggplants. Some dill there that's bolted, but I'm still getting some dill off that, and I'm going to save the dill seed. We got some broccoli here that's bolted as well, but we got lots off of that. Made some broccoli leaf soup. We're going to move on to the pepper tunnel here. One of my favorite tunnels. So we got some nice spicy, that's not spicy, that's a big old sweet pepper. Beautiful. But there's a lot of spicy in here too. Look at all the jalapeños. So I'm going to harvest all these soon. I'm going to pickle some. I'm going to freeze some. Lots of things that I'm going to do with those. And they're absolutely just covered with peppers. Peppers are absolutely everywhere. This one got knocked over because of the weight of the peppers. That's funny. But they're just absolutely packed. More sweet peppers. Tons and tons and tons of peppers. So that's awesome. Gonna move on to the next tunnel. We have eggplants that are producing a lot of flowers, but the flowers aren't really producing a ton of fruit. We'll see later in September what happens there, but they should be producing fruit here soon. I'm going to move on to the melon side of this tunnel. Got some really nice sugar baby watermelons that are going to sweeten up and ripen up here soon, but that's going to be delicious. We got some Cubanelle sweet peppers right here. Here we've got what's left of the beets. So there's not many left, but there's still some to harvest. Here's the big strawberry patch that got hit hard with the frost at the start and knocked all the berries off, or all the flowers, sorry. But next year, this should produce really crazy. So I'm excited about that. This is what's left of the onions. They're just starting to all finish up now. But we've got some really big ones. That is a big onion. Some more here. So the onions are just starting to finish up now. We got the squash patch. I will show more of this on the other side because I just did a big harvest, but there's still some. So that is some yellow summer squash there. Those are really good barbecued. Here's the other side of the squash patch where all the winter squash are. So we got some nice butternut squash. There's a ton of those. Absolutely packed with butternut squash. So that's going to be really awesome to save over the winter. There's some good dumpling squashes in there too. Sweet dumpling. Some more yellow summer squash. Those are good to freeze as well as on the barbecue. And we have the corn. The corn's just starting to ripen up now. There's some nice corn on there, and then there's some small corn. But this is the first time I've grown corn, so I'm happy that I even got some nice corn. Let's see if I can find it. That one will be okay. Yeah, here's a nice one. That'll be a nice corn. Here we have some of the tomatoes here. So this is a nice big league beefsteak. Oh, sorry. Big league beefsteak right there. And then we got some San Marzano down here. There's tons of tomatoes in here, but they're just starting to ripen up now. More San Marzano in there. San Marzano. And we got some big league beefsteak. And then cherry tomatoes in the back here. Those are all just starting to ripen up too, which is exciting. Yeah, they're growing all the way up there. That's 8 feet. And they're just absolutely packed with tomatoes. All right, so here we have the first cucumber walkway here. I pulled a ton of cucumbers off this earlier, close to 12 pounds. There might be a couple in there. Yeah, there's one here. So there's a nice pickling cucumber. But I think I managed to get them all. So you're not going to see many cucumbers, but we've gotten a ton off of this so far, which is awesome. This is the other cucumber tunnel, a part of what I harvested. So I don't think we're going to find any, but it's produced very heavily. This is the pea tunnel that's coming down to its end of the life cycle, which is normal. But there's a lot of peas here that I can save and I'm going to use for seed next year. Still a couple of peas. But that produced heavily, so I was happy with that. Then we have the bean tunnel here, which I've been harvesting off of many times a week. Been doing pickled beans and freezing the beans. Should be able to see a couple here though, hopefully. There's a couple here. Small ones, but these ones are okay. They've been really good. Lots and lots of beans. Here we have the grapevines. There's 3 grapevines here. And this is the only one that's producing grapes so far because this one I planted last year and the other 2 I planted this year. But the Japanese beetles also really like them, which kind of sucks. But hopefully the Japanese beetles will be taken care of here soon. So here we have 3 white gold cherry trees and then 2 cherry bushes. That one's Valentine and that one's Juliet. And then beside them here we have some blueberry bushes, all high bush. And they've been producing pretty well this year too. I only planted them last year. Excuse me while I munch a couple of these. Here we have 2 plum trees, Danvers plum. The deer were really enjoying them, so I put this fence up, and the Japanese beetles are also really enjoying them. But they are surviving and they look really good. Now walking over to the little orchard here, we've got a large crabapple tree, another large crabapple tree, and there's one behind that. We go underneath of this. We've got 2 apple trees that I just planted, also covered by deer fence. We've got red gala and honey crisp. They're doing pretty well. We'll get some apples off them here in a year or two. All right, now coming from the garden, we have a little strip of lavender here that got planted last year. So there's 3 different types of lavender here, and they all grow at sort of different sizes. So the design is kind of going to be a wave of purple, dark purple, and then white. That goes all the way down here. Then we come across the berry patch. So there's 2 gooseberry bushes there. We've got a big patch of raspberries. We've got some blackberries here. These are different types on each of the posts. And they're just starting to produce now. Everything was planted last year. We have a goji berry bush that is probably dead now. It was alive. Then at the end here, we've got some asparagus that I just planted this year. It's doing pretty well. Lots of fronds in there. It's already starting to spread over here, which is awesome. All right, and then we'll come in here and we'll see the pawpaw trees that I planted. They've got some nice new growth on them. From this leaf here up is all new growth. So I'm super, super happy with that. And that is basically the garden tour. Well, that's the end of the video. And if you guys enjoyed the garden tour, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next one.